Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi 4 WordPress theme tutorial. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, yesterday we created this custom header, very simple custom header right there, and we made it global so it applied to all of our site. Today we're going to do a custom footer. By default, Divi comes with this sort of generic footer. You can use it if you want to and restyle it. But let's make something a little more interesting and use it for a global footer. Let's go to our dashboard. Let's go down to Divi and click on the theme builder. This is the new feature that really has taken Divi to the next level. If you're building any sort of WordPress site at all, I do suggest you check out the Divi theme. It just keeps getting better and better and so easy to use. If you want to take it for a test drive, you can do so from my affiliate link below. Here's the global header that we created yesterday. It's this one right here. And as we mentioned yesterday, because it's global, every time you create a new page, it'll appear there. We want to do the same with the footer. So let's click on Add Global Footer, Build Global Footer. You can actually download templates from the Divi library if you want to do it that way, but we're going to build it from scratch because quite often these templates don't fit with the styling that you've got for your company website. So let's build one from scratch. Build global footer. I'm going to build from scratch. Like I say, if you were going to download one, you could download it, install it in your library and choose a pre-made. We're going to build from scratch. Start building. Right away it's going to prompt you to see how many columns you actually want. Well, I think today I'll use a row with 3 columns in it. And the first thing I think I want to do in this column is put some sort of contact info in there. What I'm going to do first, before I put anything in there, just X out of that, go up to the top here. This is for the actual section. This is for the row we've just created. And the black one, when we add one, is for a new module. And I'm going to put a bit of color behind this row here, just so we can see what's going on, because I want light sort of writing on my footer here, and if I leave it like that you won't be able to see it. So I'm going to go up to the section, I'm going to go to background, and I'm going to add a background gradient. Now because our logo, we've kind of been using the blue motif because our logo on the header there was blue. I'm going to do a kind of a dark gradient. So we've got color, you've got gradient, you've got image, and you've got video if you want to use one. I'm going to use a gradient. Just click plus. There it is. It's automatically put in one for us. So let's adjust the colors the way we want them. Like I say, I want it fairly dark. So I'm going to have a darkish blue at the top, and at the bottom I'm going to make it almost black. Again, I want it sort of bluish, so something like that. So we've got a nice dark gradient there. There we go. Now I'm going to add the module. I'm going to start with some contact info, and I'm going to use a little blurb module which will allow us to use a little icon on here. As you can see, it's put in a placeholder image and some text there. I really don't need much of this here. So first thing, I'm going to put in telephone number. So I'm going to make up a number. Let's put a gap between those so it looks more like a telephone number. There we go. And this is the title up here. You can't really see that at the moment. It is there because it's dark on dark, but we'll change that in just a second. Now I don't want any of this. I really don't need any of that. So I'm going to take all that content. It's just their generic content that they've put in there. That's fine. But instead of this image, I want to use an icon. Use icon. I just clicked on the image and icon tab here and enabled the use icon tab. Okay, what icon do I actually want? Well, I want a telephone, I guess, if it's telephone number. And I know they've got one down here because I've used it before. Actually, there's a sort of iPhone type thing up here. Let's just use that one. That's fine. As you can see, it's put it in there, but it's, for me, that's way too big. And I don't want it on the top. I want it on the left hand side there. Okay, and if you wanted to, you could put in a link here, a tell link, so when people on cell phones click on it, it'll call, and I think it's just tell is the United States, and then whatever the number is after it. And it'll dial that number, but I'm not going to put that in. Just Google tell link and it'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay, so we've got the number and we've got the icon, but it's not looking anything like I want it. So let's pop over to our design tab next door. Image and icon, well, that's the icon. Icon color, well, you can change the color. That's pretty striking, but it's still way too big for me. So let's go to image icon placement, which is just down a little bit, and it says top. I want to put it on the left, which will make it smaller, and put it on the left of our writing there. That's more like it. Okay, and to make it stand out a little further, let's circle it. Circle icon. There we go, and it puts a little circle around it. Circle color, I want it a little bit lighter. I kind of like the blue, but I just want it a little bit lighter in color, so I'm going to click on the color, pop it up just a little bit. There we go, so it stands out a little bit better there. That's fine. In fact, I'm going to leave that just like that for our icon. If you want a border on it, you can put one. There, it's got a little white. That's a bit overkill for me, but you might want to do that. Let's turn that back off again. I just like it like that. That's fine for our icon. I'm going to leave it just like that. Now the text. I want that to be light in color. At the moment, as you can see, on the text tab, it says dark. I'm just going to switch that to light. I'm going to take that font size down just a little bit in a moment. It's actually title text. If you hover over while you're in the edit mode, you see the little paintbrush icon there. You can just click on it to get to whatever element you want. H4, I just want to take that down slightly in size. Here we are, it's 18. Let's take it down. I want it to be legible. Now I want to push that text down a little bit. And to do that, I've just got to use a little bit of custom CSS to add a bit of padding to the top, because I kind of want it in the middle of that icon there. So let's go to advanced. Custom CSS we've got before. We've got the main element, which is the whole thing. We've got after. We've got the blurb image, which is actually our icon right there. We've got the blurb title, which this is. So all I'm going to do is left click on there. I'm going to say padding, P-A-D-D-I-N-G, dash top, colon. Simple bit of CSS here. Now how far do I want to push it down by? Let's try 10 pixels, 10 px. It's just a little bit too far. Let's bring it up just a tad. Let's try 8 pixels, maybe even less. Let's try 7. Yeah, that works for me. So I've said padding, P-A-D-D-I-N-G, dash top, colon, 7 pixels, and I'll put a semicolon after it just in case we want to add some more code. And that's in the blurb title. So I'm fairly happy with that little module. Now I'll just show you, if I go up to the row here, if you wanted to, you could extend this full screen. I don't want to, but I'll show you how to do it in case you wanted your footer to extend. So let's go into the row. Remember I said section, row, and the dark one's the module. So I'm going into the row. I'm going to go to the design tab. I'm going to go to sizing, width. I'm simply going to slide that up to 100%, and max width, I'm going to type, well, I'll copy that right there, Control C, and paste it in there, or type in 100%. And as you can see, that's pushed that over there. Our middle one will still be in the middle. Our right one will be all the way over to the right. Of course, you don't want it buffered up against the side there. So if we go to spacing, you could put a margin or a bit of padding. Left, let's give it 75. It'll automatically put in pixels. If you want to use a percent there, just select that and put in your percent. Check the little chain icon, it'll do the other side, and you'll have a bit of spacing either side. Like I say, I don't want that for mine today, so I'm just going to delete that. Go back to our sizing and delete these settings. It will go back to the default. There we go, just save that back how we were. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got our first little icon there. Now I'm going to repeat this and just change the icons and numbers. I guess I'll do the first one and then I'll do it some more. All right, first thing I noticed there is that's way too far below. So let's just change that. Let's go into our little module setting here. Now you might notice this module is hidden under this one. If this happens and you have trouble getting to it, hit the little purple button down here and you can go to what they call wireframe mode. This will show you the modules on the back end. This is how I used to build sites with Divi before the fantastic new front end builder. And there's our two modules. It looks like I created a row instead of a module there. So let's get rid of that row, hit the trash can. And let's now just duplicate this, two little squares to duplicate. Let's go back to our front end. You've got desktop view, tablet view, and mobile view. I'm going to go back to desktop view. Okay, so there's our two, but again, they're a little too far apart. So I'm going to go back into this top one and just make sure there's no padding or margin top and bottom that's pushing it down. So module settings, a little cog. Let's go to design. Let's go to spacing. Put a 0 top and bottom for the margin. See if that makes any difference. Yeah, it did. Okay, that's fine. So we want, that's a little too close. So let's say 10 pixels top and bottom. That's more like it. That's a reasonable sort of spacing. I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to delete this one again and just reclone it because I've changed the settings on this one above and I want it to be the same, so we'll have the same styles on the icon and the writing. Two little squares to clone it. There we go, fantastic. I'm just going to go in and change the icon to whatever I want here, email address perhaps, little cog. And I'll put in the email address. As you can see, it's in there, and let's just change the icon out. And I'll do a couple more of these, but I'll pause the video. No point watching me do this over and over again. Just want a little email or an envelope or something like that. Indicates an email. So I'm going to pause and put in a couple more. Okay, so I've just put that last one in. Just did exactly the same, cloned it and just changed the details there. Now you could put a link in the email, a mail to, that'll pop up their email client when they click on it, or you could have it go to the contact page. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. What do I want to put in here? Well, how about a contact form or a subscribe form? So let's add a new module. I'll put in a bit of text that just says subscribe. You can put in a bit of code if you want to put your MailChimp form in there. Just going to select this and say subscribe today or subscribe for news. There we go, something like that. And it's up there, you can't see it very well. We'll do exactly the same. Let's go to our design tab. It's just regular text. So let's scroll down a little bit. You can either put a custom color in there or just below it should say light. There we go, you can see it a lot better there. I'm going to centralize it, make sure it's in the center of our thing. These are I'm going to keep on the left. What else do we want to do? I want to make that a bit bigger, and I think I might make it capitals. So let's scroll back up again a little bit. Still on our text tab on design. And font weight, I'm going to leave that as is, but I'm going to capitalize it. There we go, something like that. I want to make it slightly bigger so it's similar to that, which I think was 18 pixels. You can either slide, type in a value, or when you hover over, use these little arrows up there. I think 18 is going to be too big. Let's try 16. Yeah, that works for me. And I want a bit of padding at the top just to push him down so he's in line with this. That's going to stay right like that. So let's go down to spacing. Just roll on down. Spacing. Padding top. I'll put in 10 and see how that goes. We want a little bit more. Try that. We can readjust it if we don't think it's correct. I think that's about right. That's about right for me. Okay, so subscribe for news. Well, what do we want underneath that? Well, we want some kind of form. Let's just save this. Let's add another module. Little black circle there will add a new module. And by default, Divi comes with all these modules. If you've got a shop and you've got WooCommerce installed, they've got another, I think it's 16 WooCommerce modules that will appear here that really work well. So let's put in a form, contact form, and that's way too big. What I really only want an email address and a subscribe button. So let's do that. I don't want the captcha. So there's the name. I'm going to get rid of that. There's the email address. I want to keep that. I guess I want to make this full width, so let's go into the little cog. As you can see, it's a required field, so they can't send an empty message there. You can turn that off if you want. Don't need conditional logic at the moment. Let's go to layout, and I want to make this full width. Now, if I wanted to bring it in a little bit, I could just add a bit of padding either side. So let's do that. Let's go to spacing, and left and right, let's add 30 pixels. Like I say, you don't have to put the PX in, it'll do it for you. Let's just shrunk it up a little bit. Let's just save that. That's that field right there. Success message, let's put in thanks for subscribing. So when they click the submit button, it'll say thanks for subscribing. Now email, this is really important. This is where you actually want it to be sent to, which will be your email address obviously, or whatever email address you choose. So hit that, put in your email address. And that's where it will get sent to. Elements, well, this is where you can turn your captcha on or off there. I want to turn this off. I really don't need that just for an email address. And redirect, once they submit, you can redirect them anywhere. I'm not even going to have that. You could put a hashtag in there to get them back to the top of the page. But that simple message that thanks for subscribing should pop up and let them know that it's gone through fine. Don't need a link. Don't really want to change the background color of that. But I do want to do something with this button here. So let's go to design. Here's the button. Use custom styles for the button. Well, I guess let's make it a nice light blue color again. Let's just have a look over here. I'm going to copy this color. So I'll just click the save there to save our changes. I'm going to go back into here to copy this color. Design, image and icon. There's a circle color. There it is. I'm going to copy that bit of hex code. Control C to copy. X out of there. Didn't want to change anything. Let's go back in here and make our button that color. Back to design. Down a button. use custom styles. Button text color, let's make that white. Button background color, paste in that little hex code we just copied. There we go, it's that nice color. And you see it's got a white border. Let's make the border the same color. Button border color. Paste that hex code in there. There we go. Now I kind of want to make this a rounded button, and I don't want the little icon in there. So let's have a look here. Custom styles button, keep moving down. Button border radius, I'm going to give it about 50 pixels, and that'll give it nice round borders. 50. And it automatically puts in the pics. So you've got a little pill type button there. Fantastic. Button font, I'm going to leave exactly as it is, font weight, etc. Show button icon. Well, no, I don't want to see that icon when I hover over it. Do we want any text shadow? Yeah, that's okay. Just put that little bit on there. Sometimes that can make things look a bit blurry. You can change the custom styles for the shadows just there. Okay, button margin. I want to scoot this. I just want it in line with this basically, so I want it to go down a little bit. Now you have to do this in the margin, not padding. If you add padding left and right, it'll make the button wider. If that's what you want, that's fine. See, that's added to it. Okay, that button looks like it's over to the right a bit to me, so let's move that. And we can do that with our margins up here. So let's give it a bit of padding at the top, say 10 to push it down just a little bit. And we gave this top one 30 pixels left and right, so let's give this one 30 pixels, and that should pop it over 30 pixels on the right. There we go, and that's popped it underneath. I guess for consistency we could go back up to the field here and just make that rounded also. Before I do that though, let's go back up to our color. What I'm going to do, if you roll over button background here, hit the little arrow, it'll give you the option to set a hover color. So I'm going to click on hover, and I'm just going to change this color slightly. I'll just make it a little bit lighter. There we go. I'll leave the border color as it is. So when they hover over it, it'll appear light to show that it's active. Okay, I think we're pretty much done with the button there. Let's go back to our fields and round off that top field so it looks a bit more like our bottom button right there. To do that, we just simply need to go down to the field's border. There we are. And put in the same. I'll put in 50 pixels. And if the link is checked, it'll do all 4 of them. There we go. So you've got your little rounded subscriber there. And we could pop this up just a little bit. Let's close that out. Just make sure there's no margin on the top. I want to pop it up a bit, so let's put a 0 in there. No, obviously no margin on the top. So there's a couple of ways we could handle this. We could give it a negative margin by going down, so it's -1. That will pull it up to where we want it. And I'm going to leave it just about there. And I'm going to call that done. Save, save. And what do we want over here? I guess we want our logo. Not sure. Let's put an image in there. Not sure our dark logo is going to work here. We might have to put a light one in there. Click on the image. There's our little logo. Yeah, that's not going to work there. Let's get a little white one. Let's delete that one. Add an image. And I'll pull one in. Just drag and drop, left click, drag and drop. Let's pop that one in and see if it works any better. Yep, that's a lot better. It's way too big. Let's go to design, sizing, and width, max width. I don't know, what did we do up the top? 200, wasn't it? That's fine. And alignment, I want it to be in the middle there. And I guess we'll pop it down just a bit to keep in line with the other things we got going on there. So let's go to spacing. And I think I used 15. You can either use margin or padding. For this particular case, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll save that. And let's just finish off by putting a little copyright notice in. Hit the little plus button. Again, I'll use a bit of text. There's a text module. I'm going to use what they call an alt code to put the copyright symbol in there. So I'm just going to delete that. And I'm going to hold my alt key down and hit 0169, and that will give you the copyright symbol right there. As you can see, it's right there. And again, it's dark, but that's fine. I'm just going to type in what we want. And say all rights reserved underneath. Fantastic. And I want to make that light. I want to take the line height down a little bit. And I want to put it in the middle. So let's go to design. Let's go to text. It's just regular text. And I can either make it light or white. If we go down under the shadow here, here's light. That's fine. And I want it to be in the middle. Yeah, let's save that. And we'll call that done. If we look up here, you can change the padding if you think that's a little too deep for you. Just simply left click, pull it up to where you want it. Same with the bottom, left click, just pull it up to where you want it. Save our changes. Exit out. Save our changes here to the global footer. Now when we refresh our site here, we should have that global footer on the bottom. There we have it. And that will appear on every page that we create. If you want to have a different one on a different page, you can simply add a new template, create a regular custom footer, and assign it to a page. Simple as that. So I hope you found that useful and enjoyed it. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.